I always thought of my life as a kind of spiritual quest. On a recent visit to China, I was able to re-examine that quest through a recital of poems and writings I'd collected over 50 years as an actor and broadcaster. I called it the search for meaning. At sunrise, 30 young people ran out into a clearing. They fanned out, their faces turned towards the sun, and began to bend down, to drop to their knees, to bow, to lie flat on their faces, to stretch out their arms, to lift up their hands, and then to drop back on their knees again. From a distance, you might have thought they were praying. In this age, no one is surprised if people cherish their bodies patiently and attentively every day of their lives. But they would be jeered at if they paid the same regard for their souls. No, these people are not praying. They are doing their morning exercises. Intrinsic in human nature is a kind of yearning for something more than merely a physical existence. And you find this reflected in literature. This is a piece from the traditions of Tao, the Chinese philosophy. Something there is, without form and complete, born before heaven and earth, solitary and vast, standing alone without change, everywhere pervading all things, mothering all beneath heaven. I don't know its name. I style it Tao, and for want of a name, call it great. If Tao can be named, it is not Tao. If its name can be named, it is not its name. Has no name, precedes heaven and earth. Has a name, mother of 10,000 things, mystery of mysteries, the door to inwardness. That yearning to understand that hidden mystery. Some people call it God, some call it the first cause, and as the Tao says, it has no name because it is infinite and incomprehensible to us. Nevertheless, everybody tries to make contact with that mystery of existence that lies within each individual, because we are fundamentally spiritual in nature. That is our true nature. And therefore, we must and always will search for meaning. It is as if we are in the palm of the hand of God. And when we leave the womb and we come into this world, we slowly draw closer to our own understanding of the world. We are given free will. And it is as if our Creator blows us into the world and says, now come back to me. I give you the power and the capacity to know and understand. And it is now you who must decide. You who must choose actively to return. And I think that's why when people find a measure of spiritual truth, they have a feeling of return. They have a feeling that they are coming back to a place that they once knew,
I think a lot of people will confirm that, and certainly the Sufi tradition talks very, very much about that, as do the writings of the Baha'i faith.
Whither can a lover go but to the land of his beloved? And what seeker findeth rest away from his heart's desire? To the true lover reunion is life, and separation is death. His breast is void of patience, and his heart hath no peace. A myriad lives he would forsake to hasten to the abode of his beloved.
Contemplation of the spiritual world is, of course, only a part of the search for meaning. I think we have to also find a way to express that search in the world we live in. And to make the world a better place. We are also created both to know and to love God, and to carry forward an ever-advancing civilization. That's what I've discovered in my search, is that also is a fundamental impulse in human beings, is to try and change the world. Of course, we try and do that through our children, to teach them things that we couldn't understand ourselves, to improve their lives so that they're better than our lives.
And then all that has divided us will merge. And then compassion will be wedded to power. And then softness will come to a world that is harsh and unkind. And then both men and women will be gentle. And then both women and men will be strong. And then no person will be subject to another's will. And then all will be rich and free and varied. And then the greed of some will give way to the needs of many. And then all will share equally in the earth's abundance. And then all will care for the sick and the weak and the old. And then all will nourish the young. And then all will cherish life's creatures. And then all will live in harmony with each other and the earth. And then everywhere will be called Eden once again.
So the search for truth, however important it may be, is not the whole aim and end of life. The truth is no dead thing to be placed in a museum when found, to be labelled, classified, catalogued, exhibited and left there, dry and sterile. It's something which must take root in the hearts and minds of men and women and bear fruit in their lives. Otherwise, why are we here if we do not bear fruit in this world, if there are no results to our life?
Divine things are too deep to be expressed by common words. The heavenly teachings are expressed in parable in order to be understood and preserved for ages to come. When the spiritually minded delve deep into their meaning, they bring to the surface the pearls of their inner significance. There is no greater pleasure than to study God's Word with a spiritual mind.
And this is part of the active search for meaning, to study systematically the words of God and to contemplate these divine mysteries and to educate ourselves in spiritual and moral truths to equip us to live in this world and to bring us closer to the divine mystery of God.